Hey everyone, this is Siva from Pickleball RX. Right now in Pickleball, everyone is chasing power paddles. Gen 4 foam paddles, bigger drives, faster speed ups, more pop, trying to be very aggressive. But here's the truth a lot of players don't want to hear. Most players, at least beginners and intermediates, actually need the opposite. And that's why we are today looking at a different paddle. It's a new paddle, it's Mint Maestro's 20mm paddle. This paddle is built around something that many players skip. That is control part of the pickleball game. All right, before I talk about how this paddle plays, let's get into the technical stuff and specs. This paddle is about 20 millimeters in thickness. It's a hybrid paddle. It's about 16.4 inches in length and 7.5 inches in width, roughly. The handle is about 5.4 inches in length. Okay. And regarding the composition, they say the core is black polypropylene honeycomb core, which is your Gen 2 style. It's edgeless reinforced. And the face surface, they say that they have a Mint 3D watermark spin system, which improves spin and ball control. And the grip is patented silly grip rings on board. So it does have these silicone rings, which you can take off and use for other paddles too. And they also sell this 4 rings separate, which you can include in any of your other paddles. So that does really help with the vibration control and ergonomic. I think this paddle retails about $180, and you can use code PBRX to get 10% off. But in the pickleball right now is one thing I'm seeing. All the beginners and intermediates are jumping straight into power paddles. Boom stakes, Titan Aerios, Yola 4s, 5s, RPMs. But I think there is a learning curve before we get to use those paddles. As a beginner and intermediates, I feel like we all need to improve the control part of the game, which is what even Ben John suggests, before going into the aggressive mode and trying to use these power paddles. And if you look at our reviews before, we always say, a boom stake or any of those power paddles are usually recommended for a little bit higher level of players, late intermediate or advanced players, 4.0s, who knows how to control the ball better. So what we believe is when you don't develop the control part of the game and start with, aggressive power paddles like boomsticks, it can actually hurt your development in the game, because we see third shot drops flying around, resets popping up, balls going out of the court, people getting hurt because, we're swinging the paddle with too much power, So who do we recommend this paddle for? I think this is a very good paddle for beginners and early intermediate players who needs to learn the control side of the pickleball, So things like third shot drops, resets, dinking, slowing the game down, keeping the game in play, trying to make sure the ball stays in. I think this is the type of paddles we all need to start our game with before we go to the next level. Because at the end of the day, pickleball is still a control game. I am a personal favorite of 20 millimeters paddles because it did really help my slow part of the game or control part of the game. When I started playing pickleball, I was pretty bad. I got a Holbrook paddle, which at that point was very hard for me to control. So I started playing with my first 20 millimeters paddle, which is Nordic darts. It's a paddle from Luxembourg. One of my brothers who lives in Switzerland gifted me this, and that's where I started playing. And this is the paddle which really taught me the control part of the game, third shot drops, controlled drives, controlled dinks. So even now, if I have to slow the game, like if I'm playing with aggressive players or bangers, I usually revert back to this paddle, And I'm going to show all the 20 millimeters and above paddles what I have in my collection. So this is one of those. And then this is another 20 millimeter paddles. It's called Nordic Darts from the same company, a different model. with the aerodynamic structure. And then I have the Zebra. It's a Spanish brand. Totem. It's about 20 millimeters paddle. This paddle really, really plays good with circle ball. Um, and the Babolat Wizard. Another 20 millimeters paddle I have. And the thickest paddle, which is in the market right now, is Onyx Supercell. It's 23 millimeters in thickness. I mean, I'm not a personal fan of this paddle because it's too heavy, and when I play with this, it can hurt hurt my elbow and cause fatigue. Um, so going back to Mint Maestro, this paddle is roughly about 8.4 ounces, so a little bit on the heavier side, but that's where it helps because you're not going to swing too much, and that helps you to learn the control part of the game. Okay. Now, regarding the paddle, how it plays, this paddle has huge sweet spot. Wherever you hit, the ball is gonna go back with equal force. With no problem. Ben Johns explains this as concept of solidity. The difference of hitting the paddle in the center as opposed to the side. He terms it as concept of solidity. The same thing, sweet spot, which is what he looks at. It has excellent control. So you're not going to pop up your third shots. You're not going to pop up, your dings. You're not going to hit your drives out. So that part of the game is really good with this paddle. And then it has decent power. Believe me, it's not bad. I mean, it's not one of your Titan Aereo Pulse foam paddle or Selkirk boomstick, but I think you can generate decent power. I think for doubles game, you get decent power to put away with this paddle. Another place where I think this paddle is super helpful is for your drills. So when you drill to try to improve your game, like doing a third shot, resets, drops, dings, this is really helpful. This paddle. And finally, the other reason why this company caught our attention is what they support and what they stand for. They partner with Our Rescue, whose mission is to help rescue victims of child sexual exploitation and human trafficking. Supporting companies that stand for something bigger than pickleball is something we appreciate on this channel. And because of that, me and my partners, Don and Benny, we have made a decision that we've decided whatever commission we earn is going to donate to the same charity. We actually told the company that we'll give it to the same charity they've been donating. So if you do pick one up, use our code. So the money you spend is going to go for a good cause. They do sell some other cool products. They sell different types of paddles as well. Mint Megalodon, which we're going to review later. And then also other paddles. They also sell, I think, sunglasses, water bottles, some golf balls and golf products. Their pickleballs. I think their pickleballs are pretty comparable to Lifetime balls, in the color and how they bounce and everything. So that's something to look for. So final verdict. So here's our final take. In a pickleball world where everybody right now is chasing power paddles, foam paddles, aggressive paddles, believe me or not, they're really good paddles in the market right now. But I think they are suited for a little bit advanced players who knows how to control the ball. But before we get there, where we need to learn the control part of the game, I think that's where this paddle shines. So I highly recommend this paddle for someone who's starting the game or wanting to get better in pickleball. So this will help you to learn. I believe that this paddle may help you learn the game the right way. So power paddles definitely can win points. They're really good, but control paddles will help you improve the game, is what I believe in. So that's why I think I would recommend this paddle to somebody who wants to improve their game before you get to the next level where you can start using the power paddles with no problem. So if you enjoyed this review, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel, Pickleball RX. We have more reviews coming. And please again, thank you guys. Have a great day.